Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to the OSRS weekly update video. Now this week, I did release a video yesterday that was actually mentioning what looked like was going to be, because usually they actually have the updates on Wednesday, but got pushed back till Thursday this week. But there is still the league changes. However, there's actually a little bit more going on this week. The Revenant Cave player feedback changes, so there has been some changes there. The respawn rate of Revenants has been increased. The protection period will now only activate when you pay the entry fee for the first time. The amount of either dropped by Revenants has been doubled. Oh, Ether, sorry. Has dropped by Revenants has been doubled. The new Wilderness Slayer Cave now has its own audio track, which you can now unlock by exploring it. And there is a message about Leagues 2. Messages from the JMods actually. Fun fact, they said that the last recall is actually a really strong relic choice because Kandrin is a useful region. And when designing it, they forgot players get instant access to the seed pod, so that's actually kind of interesting. That oversight, it's great to see the distribution of the tier 1 relics in Twisted League. They made a mistake of making one relic much more viable than the others, and they're working to avoid those kind of problems in the future. So they didn't really say which one was the most useful out of all of them. Although last recall is the tier 1. Personally, I did not choose last recall. I don't know if that's tier 1 or 2. Something actually tells me it's tier 2. But there's certain ones that people are like, it's a no-brainer. You got to choose this. You got to choose that. Here's the moral of the story: is you got to choose what works for you. What works for you isn't going to work what works for me. When it comes to these kind of things, it's just, what is your play style? What is your goal? What is your target? What do you need assistance with when accomplishing things? That's how you should go about it. And Mod Flippy had a little bit of feedback. They are really impressed. He says the player engagement with Leagues 2 has been incredible. So it's nice to see people running around in new gear, discussing strategies and ideas, and just people interacting with each other in general. I will admit, my experience with Leagues has been better. Well, there's been a lot more good than there has been bad. There has been a few trolley players, but you gotta expect that when it comes to any MMO. It doesn't matter what it is. However, there is Trailblazer hotfixes. So the change log is as follows: additional Trailblazer League specific hotfixes as of 5/11/2020. Something tells me that might be. So some of these are, it's just wrong dates. Okay, so Gemstalls in the Moral Eric and Keldagrim will now correctly complete the steal from a Gemstall task. Draining Strikes will now correctly round up to the damage dealt to the nearest 10 before applying its hit prayer/hit points restoration effect. Players can no longer rewatch cutscenes from Dragon Slayer 2 and Song of the Elves within the Trailblazer League. A natural selection will now correctly guarantee elite clue drops from superior Slayer creatures, which drop them. Deaths that happen within the Revenant Caves will now correctly transfer your tradable items to your gravestone when you die in PvP combat, as they normally would within any other part of the wilderness in the Trailblazer League worlds. The Abyssal Sire pet will now correctly complete the Obtain a Boss Pet task Players who obtained the previous pet previously, where it shows in their collection log, can open the task interface to complete the task and have a pet automatically insured. Players who lost their pet without it being insured can reclaim it from the league tutor in Lumbridge once the task interface has been opened. So, pre-update hotfixes is the production relic now works with fletching javelin shafts and firing pottery. Fluid strikes will now apply its damage reduction effect if the damage you've taken was less than your current HP. So see here for more information. Basically what it is, if you take damage that is equal to your health, you're going to die. But if you take damage that's at least 1 hit point less than your max health, it'll be reduced by the amount. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. The following tasks are now completable. Restore X prayer points, which now checks for your prayer points instead of prayer level. Steal a chocolate slice, which now works with both Ardun and Keldagrim, which I actually noticed that too. I already did that one. Enter your player-owned house. Chop a Sola Scap on Fossil Island. Complete Rune Mysteries, which now auto-completes upon unlocking Kandrin as intended. Rune Mysteries will now auto-complete. I just said that. You can now obtain a second Jamin Staff with the League Tutor. Herbs are now always added to the herb sack if it is open. Players who lost their Bar Crawl card will find that Asgardia pubs now correctly marked off. The double cast relic now save runes in the alchemy room of the mage training arena. And there is a lot of fixes in this next part. So this is the following fixes that will also be going live. So a typo has been fixed in the description of the equilibrium. No big deal. Goat Tuber is now spelled correctly in the task interface. The hard task to defeat Vorkoth on Ungale is in 2 or less, now correctly task name. The pickpocket bandit in the Caridian Desert task now specifies that the bandit must be in the Desert Bandit camp. Lesser demons in the wilderness will now count towards the defeat of lesser demon task. Various runecraft tasks now specify that the runes must be crafted at their respective altars. The fill large pouch with essence and fill giant pouch with essence tasks are now marked as general, as they do not require the wilderness to complete. The description of the production master relic has been modified to specify that it only works with glass blowing, not smelting glass. Added the second inventory model to the League Tutor. Fixed a typo in Thessalia's haircut dialogue on League Worlds. Clue hunters will no longer receive steps for follow Sherlock, Music, and Zaya. The Asgardian drops section of the area's interface now correctly states that it affects dragon defenders. Production master will now correctly apply when firing pottery. Your kill count at the God Wars dungeon can no longer be reduced by any means while playing on League Worlds. Teleporting out of an instance or non-instance God Wars dungeon boss room with last recall will now teleport the player outside of the boss room when they use the Crystal of Memories. For more information, they have a page. Basically what it is there was an issue and it didn't properly work with instances, so now you are teleported directly outside of the boss room and you do not lose your kill streak. So don't worry about all that. You just are able to pop right back in, start up a brand new instance if you need to, etc., etc. The make a potion with the Amulet of Chemistry task will now complete when a 4-dose potion is made with the Botanist Relic. The same task has been renamed Make a 4-dose potion. The task to complete Inocra's Lament is now completable. If you have completed the quest and not yet received points for this task, opening the task interface will mark that the task is done. The Kandrin task catch 50 Red Chinchampas will now work on Red Chinchampas across Kandrin, not just the ones in the private hunter area. Getting more than more than one level 99 or achieving 25 million XP in 2 or more skills at the same time will now correctly complete both associated tasks instead of just one of them. If you experience this issue, opening your task interface should fix this issue for you. Slayer enchantments now have the chance to drop on League Worlds while doing so in the Wilderness Slayer task. This is not affected by the League's drop rate modifier. Fix an issue with the reach level 5 in any role at Barbarian Assault and reach level 5 in all roles at Barbarian Assault. Tasks could not be completed. If you have done these tasks and not received points, open the task interface to fix the issue. The task Smith 1000 Adamant Dart Tips is now tracking your progress correctly. Unfortunately, due to the tracking issues, players will need to smith the darts again after today's update for the task to complete. Fix an issue where adding the jar to the player-owned house display case was not completing an appropriate League's task. Players with the jar already active in their player-owned house will need to remove it and just re-add it for it to be completed. Additional pay dirt from the Motherlode mine generated by the Endless Harvest will no longer always be coal. Tasks to cook, fish, smelt bars, or burn logs will now correctly track progress when the effects of the Trailblazer harpoon, axe, and pickaxe or any other infernal tools are triggered. You can now catch multiple items at once with the big net. After all, there's plenty of room in there. The dark bow will now work with exploding attacks. Only the first successful hit will trigger the effect. If you hit twice, it will proc. The scoreboard for the Gauntlet, the Nightmare, and Theater of Blood best times in the League Worlds will no longer impact regular worlds. The scoreboards will be reset at some point after the game update, so if your personal best is better than the global time, it will be overwritten. So that really good times don't have to be re-obtained. Teleporting out of the temple trekking will re-enable the Endless Harvest Relics effect. Ava's devices and the range skill cape will now correctly stack with the ammo saving of the quick shot relic, resulting in 98% ammo saving bonus. The task defeat the apparent Spectre and Kandrin has been replaced with defeat the Fire Giant Kandrin, as the former was incompletable with any given combination of areas. As of Tuesday, God Sword shards will now correctly drop from the God Wars General Bodyguards and will be affected by the League's drop rate modifier. Fluid Strikes will now only provide 15% damage reduction if hit will no longer kill you. So we discussed that earlier. In addition, they're opening 13 more League Worlds this week to lessen crowding during peak times and general world lag. The new worlds are as follows: 539 through 543 US, so 5 worlds, 548 through 551 Germany, 558 through 561 UK. They're also designating 5 existing worlds as group mini-games to help mini-gamers find others to play with. 402 is US East, 405 is Germany, 407 UK, 409 US West, and 412 is Oz. Trailblazer League rankings. So here are the point thresholds for each rank in the Trailblazer League as the time of this update. So, to get bronze, you needed 100, iron 520, steel 1440, mithril 3130, adamant 5750, rune 11,000, dragon 16890. So, these are the ranks for the points, so just keep that in mind. In other news, the Halloween event will be removed next Wednesday, November 11th. If you have yet to complete it, find Rick in the woods near the Wizard's Tower to get started. There is going to be more Pole 73 changes coming, but right now they wanted to take care of the Trailblazer and get the fixes that needed to be fixed. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.